Are we live and up and running?
Hey, yeah, it looks like we are.
Live and up and running. We good. Okay, cool. So it's going to take me a hot minute here to do all my boosting, social media, and plugs and stuff. So if you are catching this in the future, you can skip ahead like a minute or two, and then we'll get into the action. But for folks that are trapped here in now space and time, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and I've been basically a freelance illustrator since 2000. I've been running games in D&D. It was where I started since 1987. I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2017? Yeah, there you go. And so I'm gonna click that button there. I'm pressing a bunch of buttons on social media, so give me a hot smeckin' to get on through with this. But we're going to continue working on the martial power system. Martial powers is an alternate magic system that is not spellcasting. That martial characters and half-casters can use to supplement their action economy and their own action loops with different things that they can do by spending mana to create effects. Like paladin smites, for instance, is an example of a mana effect. You spend X amount of points and you do damage in these conditions. So that's what we're just going to explore and work with today. I'm almost done pressing social buttons, so we'll be there in a second with y'all. I'm going to click that out, and then like 3 or 4 more things to go, and then we'll be up and running. So we're going to spend about an hour or so today. We've been... we had originally started this project about a year ago, and we're now at the point that we've been playtesting it. I did playtesting on this at my home table from level 16 to 20 last year, and then we started locking down all the specific information about it and started playtesting. We're currently doing playtesting through level 6. This Monday is going to, assuming we get a team together, this Monday will be the last evening that we do any playtesting for a while we, and then on Tuesday we'll have access to the Player's Handbook on D&D Beyond, so we can start going through the document and rebuilding everything to be compliant with 2024. So, and this is just about donezo with all my bits here. Bop, bop, and then here, bop, bop. Okay, cool. So I got all of the socials done finally, and let's see. We'll go back to here, and was that 2 minutes? Yeah, more like 3. Close enough. All right, here we are on screen. Hey, I'm on the X Twitter platform. If you're there as well, I'm at Phil Kearney. That's where I post coupons when I go live, illustrations that we've worked on. You are certainly welcome to hang with me here live here on YouTube. Thanks a lot to new subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, bell icon to get notifications when I'm live in the future. If you scroll down here, we're at episode 149 of this playtest of this design, and here is the full playlist for you to take a look at. And if you click here, here's the actual Martial Powers playtest content that I work in. The YouTube stream is here right now. Hey guys. Otherwise, you can click Martial Powers here on my. You do not need to be a Patreon member to have access to it, but it is a read-only document. All classes and subclasses from 24, including the barbarian, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, and rogue, are rebuilt to use this mana system as a core mechanic, much like spellcasting. And then we also have options for artificers and warlocks to make use of the power system that we built in here. Artificers can create infusions by like creating, like say, like infusing a weapon with a specific strike, so that you spend mana and then you can just do strike powers like paladin smites. You could also like have a power stone, like a mana crystal. You can create one, and then the amount of mana that it carries is equal to your proficiency bonus. You can have a number of them, so you can have basically a lot of batteries that you can either use to recharge yourself, plug into a mana into a mana device that has a socket for power, or you can just hand them off to friends for them to basically treat them as a mana potion, basically. And then the Warlock has invocations that you can learn powers instead of spells, but again, everything proceeds at the half-casting progression. So first at 1, 2, 5, 3, 9, 4, 13, and then 5th rank powers at 17th level. Hey, what's up? C Jack DC, what up? Barbarians use mana, that's barbaric. That is barbaric. It's not spellcasting, and you don't maintain concentration on anything. So, C-Jack, welcome to the mix, man. I've been building color mana systems for basically converting MTG into D&D. Let's see if I can find the color mana list. Here you go, down in my description down below. I've got 6 books in this series so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one doesn't count because it's just a little preview thing that I tossed in there as basically a coupon. 6. So I have 6 books in the series right now. Marshall, and this is all for like spell casting. If you're familiar with the Magic the Gathering game, the color magic paradigm replaces the 8 schools of magic with the 5 colors. We replace spell slots with a much more intuitive mana system that can either just be universal points like key is, or sorcery points, or just points that you spend on whatever you know, or you could deep dive and devote each point to a specific color. So like this is the and most of this stuff is free it's all free preview. A lot of it's pay what you want, so grab what you want. But check this stuff out, like the 5 colors. If you're familiar with it: white, blue, black, red, green. There's different descriptors for what each color kind of represents, and you could debate me on these, but these are general ideas that exist inside of the D&D game that define each color. And then there's all the damage types, and there's 10 types of magical or supernatural damage types, and we have 4 coded to each color. Like force damage is typically going to be white, blue, or red, which is consistent across what we see in MTG cards and spells that we see in D&D. Those actually mesh. Acid is black and green. That's completely consistent with cards. Cold damage is logically white because for whatever reason white is cold. Blue is often depicted as cold, and then green as like a nature catch-all also counts. And like fire is red, lightning is red, right? Necrotic is black, radiant is white, thunder damage is blue and red as well as green. And then bludgeon, piercing, and slashing don't have any kind of color at all. So you take the combination of the damage type and the different aspects of magic, and you blend them together, and then you get a color. You basically get a grid for all the spells. So like animal friendship is red because it's basically affecting something's perception of you. You're affecting their emotions. And green because animals. But like bless is divinity, so that's a white spell. Bane is like cursing people, so that's a black thing. Arms Hadar, necrotic damage, so that's black. Let's go down to something iconic like, say, Fireball. Fireball's red, obviously. So the way it works is for each point that each level equals 1 point. First level spell, 1 point. 5th level spell, 5 points. Cantrips, no points. 9th level spell, 9 points. We have a progression. You only need to have 1. If it's a 1st to 5th level or common magic, like a fireball requires 3 mana. 1 has to be red, and the other 2 can be whatever you want. If you're devoting your mana, you could just say, I'm going to spend 3 mana. This is a red spell, so you detect it as red, and there you go. But if you really want to challenge yourself and lean into the Ludo narrative of having your mana pool align with your character, you can specifically build out, like if you're playing a Rakdos, like a Rakdos Warlock, for instance, is black and red. So all of your mana is going to be black and red, which means that you'll either only be able to cast spells from your list that are black and red, or you spend time researching a spell so it is either black and red, like Bless could become a black spell if you research Bless to be a black spell. So now you have a reason to go downtime and to go visit your guild so you can get more spells and the colors devoted to your guild. Alternatively, you can learn a spell twice. or prepare it twice, is what the 2024 language is. Once because bless is a white spell, but I'm going to learn it again so that I can change the color to what I want. So you're self-nerfing full casters if you want to. You don't have to. Or the DM can say, hey, we're going to devote mana to color as a means of bridging the gap between marshals and spellcasters by making spellcasters like, I'm going to be a red wizard, so I'm only going to be pulling from red spells, which means like green and blue I won't have access to unless I'm spending time or resources, either in downtime or during my long rest to gain access to those spells I normally wouldn't have access to. Otherwise, like in a Dominar campaign, where I could be any color that, or like a Kaladesh campaign where I could be any colors that I want, I could say, well, I'm going to play I don't know, a blue, green, red character, right? So I'm going to be able to pull blue, green, and red, but now I have to divide my mana pool between blue, green, and red. When I run out of red mana, I can't cast red spells anymore. However many points I have left when I take a short rest, I can re-devote all of those points to any color that I want on the fly. I can always adapt my color pool by taking a rest and recalibrating my points to make use of whatever I want. And then on a long rest, of course, I get all my points back. I can just devote however many I want to whatever. If you're just using color mana as a description, the revised color mana spell list gives you the default colors, but as a DM, you can say bless is available as green because I say so. Up to you. That's fine. Here's the core look at the spellcasters in the core mechanics book. All these are going to be updated for 2024 once I have my hands on the book next week. So we're going to be doing a lot of reconstruction here and rebuilding and implementing new rules. I've been using this system for a good 6 years at my table. I've ran 2 1-to-20 campaigns since I published these books. So I've had a ton of opportunity to run through campaigns from ground to sky to see what works, and I've found some nuances and ways to improve the system's usability overall, which I'll be implementing and updating these books with. But just for perspective, full caster ends up with 80 points at 20th level. Half caster on a long rest ends up with 40 points on a long rest, and a third caster like Eldritch Knights and Arcane Tricksters, they have 20 points on a long rest. Sorcerers is one of the updates that we're doing. I actually have an entire book that I'll be publishing, Spell Point Sorcerers, where you blend your sorcery points into your actual spell supply. So a sorcerer would end up having 100 points at 20th level, and you add, you don't just learn meta magic and then you prepare spells. You can prepare meta magic and spells. So if I want to have 3 spells and like 6 meta magics to be able to modify what those spells can do, that's on you. Go right ahead. So really easy, light system. It's a very intuitive spell point system. I've done a ton of testing with it. I've used it for years at all levels of play. It works fantastic if you're into spell points. It's more more restrained. You have less spammable abuse using this point for point system than what the DMG presented in 2014. So it's a pretty good system. Anyone is welcome to check it out. All the books have free previews. The Elemental Key book, by the way, offers both color mana as red, blue, and green magic, but it also has 4 elements of air, earth, fire, and water. So you can use the same paradigm. I know that the 4 elements is dead, but I can rebuild this book to remain relevant. But you can see here, if you're using Elemental Key, the different, like gust of wind, gust, for instance, gust of wind, that's an air spell. So I have to have air mana. If I am just an earthbender, then all I'm going to have is earth. And so here's all the things that an earth elementalist can naturally do with this spell list. But I could prepare Fog Cloud twice. Once as its native AW, but then I could relearn it as earth. So when I cast Fog Cloud, I don't create fog. What I do is I kick up a bunch of dirt off the ground. So it rises up and creates a fog effect. So narrative is free. It could just be generic key, and I'm an earthbender. So when I'm going to use my gust spell, I'm going to narrate that all the dust in the air just coalesces and creates obstacles, for instance. So, anyway, there's that. So that's the premise behind this, but this only covers the spellcasters, which is only 8 of the 13 classes that exist. So I want to make sure that we provide the same resource for the martial characters, so that when you're playing an MTG campaign, all the characters are using the same mana resources, so you can freely multi-class between, like, say, barbarian and sorcerer to have a rage mage. And then I'm going to be able to use mana for barbarian stuff, and I'll be able to use my barbarian and sorcerer as a single pool of mana to be able to spend on barbarian or sorcerer stuff. We have the rules for split classing, how you can multi-class in, how you can make the mana pools work together, how you remain balanced between martial and caster options. But this goes a long way to bridge the gap, that divide that exists between martials and spellcasters. The divide is there because martials don't have options, and weapon masteries just don't do it. Weapon masteries is like giving everybody cantrips. That's nice, but it doesn't answer the question of how I have like quadratic growth in my character as a spellcaster. They have 40 spells they can pick from. They can pick 10 of them right now, and I can do that every time I wake up and completely adapt my character's abilities to complement what the team needs right now, today. While the martial has to stay the same fucking character the entire time and make whatever's going on work with it. This system allows us to have that same verisimilitude of, I'm a fighter, I'm going to have 5 abilities, and here's 170 different powers, or when you get into 2024, we'll see we have 181. There's a total of 170 powers currently. 115 of them use mana, and like the other 60 some odd don't require mana at all, including combat masteries, which is you can learn weapon masteries, so you can use a mastery with any weapon that you want. Fighters naturally get this ability at 10th level, so it's not like I'm breaking anything. I'm just making it available to everybody. If you're proficient with a weapon and you are a martial character, you automatically know any number of masteries that you want. If it's built into a weapon, like crossbows push, you can automatically use it because you're proficient with the weapon. Martial characters automatically know how to use the mastery that goes with that weapon. But if I wanted to, for example, take the learn or prepare the step mastery, when I hit a target, I can move 5 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. I could pick up my crossbow, fire a shot, take a 5-foot step, fire a shot, take another 5-foot step. Bonus action? Okay. Fire a shot, take another step. So I can keep making steps without provoking opportunity attacks because I learned how to do that as my mastery. So the ones with asterisks are actual things that exist on weapons in the player's handbook, but all these extra ones are sensible follow, like additional. Like the step doesn't actually exist, but the rogue has the ability to sacrifice sneak attack to take steps. So that's obviously a mastery you can learn. Impair. Constitution save, or you're blind and deafened until the end of your next turn. That's actually incredibly good. So that becomes a mastery that you can pick up, which is actually really good to pick up. Like a rogue could have the nick property on weapons, right? So you use your weapon, you use nick, and then you can drop impair on it. So you make your attack, you hit, you impair your target. Now you have advantage. So when I fought with my nick attack, I can now use impair to blind. The first attack is nick. That's a bad example because I can't double up on weapon masteries. I could use the nick property, but since I did that, I get the free attack. If I was using just normal two-handed weapons, I could use one attack to impair the opponent so they're blind, and now my rogue could use the other attack with nick. There you go. Well, if he doesn't have a second attack, if he's a fighter rogue. Anyway, I think you get it. So these are things that you can learn. There's feats. You can learn feats. You don't gain the ability point bonus, but you don't have any prerequisites either. So if you wanted to be at first level, if you don't care about mana at all, you could just be a 3rd edition fighter where you just get a shitload of feats to do everything that you want, and you can just ignore your mana pool altogether. You're learning feats. They're infinite for use, super useful, very handy. And then the 3rd meta power is damage. Here's the 2024 list. There's a total of 43 feats that qualify. And you can learn them as early as level 1. You only have to be 4th level prerequisite because you get rid of the prerequisites, but you don't gain the ability bonus as a trade-off. And then there's damage types. At first level, you can learn acid, cold, fire, lightning, and poison. So whenever I hit with my crossbow, I could deal lightning damage if I wanted to because I have prepared that ability as though kind of like a cantrip where as almost like a meta magic effect, where I choose to learn this ability, I can now deal that damage. At 5th level plus, I can pick up Force, Necrotic, Psychic, Radiant, Thunder, and each one of these costs me a prepared slot. So, hey, what's up? What's my favorite color? Oh God, I think traditionally I'm a stompy green deck. I like ramp and I like big creatures. I also like swarms, like scoot swarms. I'm a really big sliver and shrine fan though. So I like slivers because each sliver makes all other slivers just like them, so you have this stacking effect. And I like shrines because if you have a really well built shrine deck, you're kind of just doing your own thing while your opponent's trying to figure out a way to tear you apart before you complete whatever it is that you're doing. So that's kind of a cheat. But I'd say if I was to be one color, I'd probably go green. Yeah, but I do like counter deck, so I'm gonna stick with green. Let's go with that. They all have their charm. Just depends on what you're doing, right? So here's the characters. They have abilities that are built into to make use of the mana. We're replacing some abilities. Let's see. So on Tuesday, I'm going to have access to the actual book. So I'll be able to translate all this stuff. One of the things I wanted to do was go down the line here. And let's see, font, format, right? I'm not good with InDesign. Strike through, there you go. So yeah, I'm going to get rid of this. When we're playtesting again on Monday, I'm doing a 6th level playtest on Monday. We did 3rd and 4th level, and then we did 5th and 6th, and we're about to wrap that up. Then I'm going to take a break while we translate the book into 2024. When I finish translating the book, we're going to fire up playtesting again at 3rd and 4th level, 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th, and then 9th and 10th. And so when we this Monday, when we test again, all these classes, the half-casters, all of them are going to be on a short rest martial point system where you gain 1 point per level. So like at 4th level, you have 4 mana that you regain on a short rest. But all the classes have ways of getting cheating in extra mana. You can sacrifice attacks to get free mana to use on strikes. You can sacrifice attacks to gain mana to spend as bonus actions. You can sacrifice your bonus action to gain extra mana to use on your action. Some abilities just grant you free mana, so that like for example, if you learn a first rank power twice, you can effectively do it for free. so you're eating up the amount of things that you can do, but those things you can do all the time. So you can basically, if you learn a 1st level power twice, it's basically being turned into a cantrip for you. So, and then all the classes like the paladin, for instance, you spend points of mana, but if you use your bonus action on top of it, you add more damage, and you can use 2 effects, like 2 condition effects at the same time. And like the ranger, we replaced Hunter's Mark with Hunter's Prey. It's not concentration, it's a sustained effect. So while you are sustaining Hunter's Mark, you automatically deal an extra die of damage. And the dice damage that you deal with your class scales by level. First, it's a D6. 9th level, it's a D8. 17th level, it's a D10. And in the case of the ranger, when they get to 20th level, the Foe Slayer ability is you're always rolling D12s against the target that you've marked. And when you hit a target, you can automatically mark them for free as part of the attack. Otherwise, you can use a bonus action just to mark some random guy as your target. So there's a lot of different stuff you can do. The barbarian can cash out hit dice to gain mana back. The fighter can use second wind to regain mana. The artificer, of course, can create mana stones to just have a battery of mana that they can use. Paladins can swap lay on hands. For every 5 hit points of lay on hands that they forgo, they can heal themselves or somebody else 1 point of mana. So a 5th level paladin can heal 5 points of mana per day. It's a lot of fun stuff. Just easy, straightforward ways to be able to manipulate your mana pool so you get more out of it while everyone is using the same structure. So, and then of course, if you take a short rest, you get all your mana back. And if you're devoting things to a color, then you get to decide what colors they are along the way. Let's see. Where are we at right now? Okay, I know I wanted to scratch that off, and I'm really looking forward to the team using the short rest. That way, everybody on the team in the playtest, we're only playing the martial power classes: the barbarian, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, as well as artificer and warlocks. And them all using short rest means that everybody's calibrated the same. It's real easy for a team to say, "Hey, let's squat and take a short break real quick," and then everyone does, and they all refresh their shit and they're ready to go. I like that. I like every 2 or 3 encounters building in enough space to allow them. And if everybody's working on a short rest mechanic, then there's no until you get to like characters like high magic and stuff like that, you don't have to really worry about it. But since we're looking at everybody using short rest, when we're doing things that can regain mana, we want to regain abilities. Like spend a spell slot and you get an ability back, right? That's expensive, so we want to make that 1 point each. Roll power dice, blah, blah, blah. So right now, I'm basically kicking through the document and looking at what do I need to update. We have forced movement can trigger opportunity attacks using the system. Kicker costs are added things you put in. Let's see. Channel exploit, quadruple your flight speed. Breath of Life. Let me scroll down. We've already updated the rogue and the fighter because those are available. Those rules are available on D&D Beyond already. So we've updated those classes. We've got our second wins. We got our power die progression. Max rank of power that you can attain. Your prep powers, they start with 5 because we got rid of fighting styles are feats and weapon masteries are now powers that you can learn. So those are 3 things that you just basically free powers that you get. So you start with 2 powers plus your freebies, which a fighter gets 3 at first level. That's why he gets 5. So we go with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 9. So we end up with 24. And each class gets a set of 10 bonus powers. Oh, that's what I need to do. Thank you. That's exactly what I need to be doing right now. Maybe like in the next week or so, I was hired on to rebuild all of the forgotten monk classes that aren't going to appear in the Player's Handbook 2024. We rebuilt all of the subclasses to work with the new 2024 system. So that was a lot of fun to do. But the team that I'm on is led by Adam Hancock, who's my editor for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that I built. He's also the creator of Balduran's Guide to Kingdom Building, which I am using as the core foundation for a downtime game system that I've been building that hopefully he'll have the bandwidth to be on board with me for the Kickstarter that we'll run probably later next year. Just keep an eye out for that shit. But yeah, so all the subclasses from all the classes, all the subclasses from the classes that aren't in the Player's Handbook are going to be in this anthology. There's about a dozen of us that have been working on it. We should have it out to you guys next week or so. So keep an eye on that for the DMsGuild. Let's see. I wanted to get here in the playtest content. I want to drop down into the maneuvers. I want to then click over here. Let's go down, go up rather, to the MTG backgrounds, which we'll have to update because of the 2024 rules. That's awesome. Here's sample playtest characters that we made, and here's sample monsters that use. So the power system is not only something that martial characters can use, but you can also just staple it on to monsters. So you could have an infinite variety of skeletal warriors that each have different types of powers that give them different roles. The soldier, and these are all from 4th edition. Soldiers synergize and work together. Skirmishers hit and move. Lurkers, they hide and sneak attack. Controllers basically lock people down, debuff, or create obstacles. Brutes are bags of hit points that hit real hard. And then there's artillery, which are ranged fighters. And there's solos, which are monsters that are designed to take on a whole team. So each of these roles that was defined in 4E, we can build kits of power around what those roles are and just drop that kit onto any monster that we want. Or we can take any of the 180 some odd powers that exist inside this book and just add them to a character. Like Abundant Step, for example, allows you to fly during your movement, but you have to land, otherwise you take falling damage. So like you could have a swarm of fire beetles, for example. Fire beetles are like tiny sized creatures, they deal fire damage. But if you give them Abundant Step, they can fly, right? Or like poisonous frogs. We can give poisonous frogs Abundant Step so that like their hop can just fly that round to reach wherever they need to be to reposition themselves. It's like that's like a really simple example of like applying a power to a creature. Or we can do fun things like give a beholder power, and like hypertonistic. When you make an opportunity attack, you can make a second attack against the same creature. So like if I gave a beholder hypertonistic, it would potentially be able to, like, if it held an attack to shoot with an eye, it could potentially tag you twice with 2 disintegrates, for example. Nasty stuff that you can do with it. But I want to go back to up here because we took all of the Strixhaven and Ravnica backgrounds. In the WotC books, they have spells that they learn, but barbarians don't get spells and they can't concentrate. So those would be useless to the barbarians. So we replace all of the spells with powers. That makes sense. So I am now going to go through the process of making sure because we've made multiple changes over the course of updating. I haven't always kept these consistent, so I'm going to now hunt down all of these abilities and make sure they're the level that they say they are, so that I can make sure this is consistent. So that's what we're doing right now, starting now. So Curse of Enfeeblement is a maneuver. So let's go to our maneuvers. Let's go to 3rd rank maneuvers. Let's look for Curse of Enfeeblement. There it is. Good to go. Rite of Revival, reaction 4. Curse of Enfeeblement. What does that do? Curse a creature. It can only that you see to deal half damage with weapon attacks until it can succeed a strength saving throw at the end of its turns. Save ends, like from 4th edition. Save ends. You save at the end of your round, or at the end of your turn. We're looking for reaction 4, which is Rite of Revival. As a reaction, when you drop to 0 hit points but don't die, you remain conscious instead, and you roll a number of power dice equal to the mana channeled. And here it's a 4th rank power, so you channel 4 mana, though you could channel up to 5. At 17th level, you could channel 5. So if we're, say, rolling 5 mana, we roll 5 dice, and then we gain a number of hit points equal to the total. So if I roll 5d10, I roll 39. If I pop 4 mana, and when I die as a reaction, instead of dying, I stay on my feet and I get 39 hit points back. Cool. Nice little counter effect, right? So that's good to go. Curse of the Fallen Puppet, reaction 2. Is that still true? This is from the Blood Hunter, by the way. We took all of the Blood Hunter rights and abilities, and we converted all of them into mana stuff. So you don't have to be a Blood Hunter to do Blood Hunter stuff now. You could be a Paladin Blood Hunter and just pick a bunch of Blood Hunter powers. You could be a Ranger Blood Hunter. You could be a Warlock Blood Hunter, a Rogue Blood Hunter. Blood Hunter almost feels like a subclass, it's almost like a flavor text to subclass options instead of being its own class, in my opinion. So it was fun translating these all into powers so that anybody, like how fun is it if you were like a Phantom Rogue, and you hit somebody with a sneak attack, and then you hit the ally with it, and when that ally drops and they die, you just raise them up and they attack that same guy that you just attacked a moment ago with your sneak attack. Like, that's fun stuff. Regeneration is maneuver 2. Let's see if it's still there. Regenerate 2. Good. Daunting Presence is sustained 3. Sustained powers are like concentration effects that you don't have to concentrate on. Once you turn them on, they stay on until you are incapacitated or they're dispelled. They can't be countered because they're not spellcasting. You can't counter it. and it doesn't require concentration. It stays on all day, and you can stack effects. If you have like at 17th level, your max rank is 5. So at 17th level, you can have 5 ranks worth of sustained effects. It's like for example, celerity is 3rd rank. So if I was 17th level, I could have celerity on, as well as like say giant growth. 2 mana, I'm now large size. So I'm now permanently large size and permanently hasted at 17th level. It just stays on all day. Good use of 5 points. What am I looking for? I'm actually looking for Daunting Presence. Thank you. Daunting Presence, there it is. While sustaining this power attack, targeting by creatures that you see, roll with a disadvantage. While sustaining this power, attacks targeting you by creatures you can see, roll with disadvantage. And when you are the only target of an effect that requires you to make a saving throw, you roll with advantage. In addition, while sustaining this power, you can spend 1 mana and target a creature as a bonus action. If the target fails a wisdom saving throw, it is frightened of you while you can see it. The creature can make an additional save at the end of its turn to end the frightened condition. This is considered to be a maneuver. So that bonus action effect, there you go. So the Daunting Presence itself is a sustained effect. It's always on. But then as a bonus action, I can pop a point of mana and you're now scared, you're now scared, you're now scared. And everyone's just going to be attacking at disadvantage against me anyway. So Daunting Presence locked in, good to go, 3rd level. Necrotic damage. Why do I have it listed as ADV? Necrotic damage is as a meta power. That's the proper way of looking at that. Breath of Life, exploit 1. When did I get that? Necrotic damage came on at 9th level. So that's fine because I could get it as early as 5th. Breath of Life is an exploit 1. Here's exploits modify other things you're doing. It basically has like kicker effects. So in this instance, Breath of Life is when I make an ability check to stabilize a dying creature, I automatically succeed by spending a point, and I restore a number of hit points equal to the result of 1 power die. So at 9th level, I have a D8. It'll cost me 1 point. I automatically stabilize you, and you get D8 hit points back. Cheers. So Breath of Life is good to go. Caustic Strike should still be a 1st rank strike. There it is. Costs 1 mana. You deal either acid or poison damage, and you add 1 power die per mana burned. At the beginning of your target's next turn, it must make a Constitution saving throw. Success equals no damage. If you fail, you take another power die of damage, and then the effect ends. So it has like an echo effect. So Caustic, that works. Life Stealing Strike, that should still be 1st rank, right? Ooh, made it 2nd. Your weapon can deal necrotic or radiant damage and add 1 power die of damage per mana spent. In addition, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the result of the power dice rolled. Any temporary hit points that remain when you start a short or long rest are lost. So, spammable spell point. Temporary hit points, super useful. Temporary hit points are all over the game in 2024. This is totally on point. Why did I make it 2nd rank? Because you get access to it at 5th level. I think it's because of the amount of temporary hit points you get. Yeah. So let's move Caustic Strike to 1st, and then Life Stealing Strike to 2nd. Cool. And Rally. Rally should still exist. What is it? Maneuver 1? Yeah, let's see if it's still there. Rally. You and 1 ally you can see gains a number of temporary hit points equal to the total of 1 power die rolled for each point of mana spent. So 1st rank power only needs 1. Super useful. Cool. Wither Bloom. Good to go. Silver Quill. Curse of Exposure. Reaction 3. Should be fine. Wave of Terror. 4th rank maneuver. Wave of Terror. You can choose any number of creatures you can see within 60 feet to make a wisdom saving throw. Each creature that fails is frightened of you. The effect ends for a creature when it succeeds a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns, or it can no longer see you. Good to go. Cursed Brand, maneuver 2. Cursed Brand. You curse a creature you see to make saving throws against you with disadvantage. The effect ends when the creature succeeds a saving throw against you. Beguiling Trance, maneuver 3. Is that true? Beguiling Trance. Target a creature, wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it's charmed and cannot take actions until you no longer see it. You move beyond the range of the power, or it takes damage, or succeeds a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Another creature can use an action to shake the creature, ending the effect early. There you go. Beguiling Trance, and then Intimidating Strike frightens people when you hit them. There it is. Your damage increases by 1 power die per mana channeled. In this case, is a minimum of 3. And the creature is frightened of you until you lose line of sight, or you are incapacitated. The creature can attempt to end the effect by succeeding a wisdom saving throw. All these things that can end, that have a duration that ends on the saving throw, they all last 1 minute. So like, it's hard coded that all this stuff lasts 1 minute, unless you end it earlier. So normally that's 10 rounds. It's typically sufficient for you to maintain. Provoking Strike, 3rd rank. There you go. Goad, 1st rank maneuver. Is that still true? Goad. Target creature you can see here, it makes attacks against other creatures other than you with disadvantage until it actually hits you or succeeds a saving throw at the end of its turns. Okay. Rally, we already know that's a 1st rank power. Distracting Strike should be 1st. Distracting Strike. Hello. Your weapon deals extra damage equal to 1 power die per mana burned. And the target must make a strength saving throw with disadvantage against your channeling DC, adding the results. Is that distracting? It's not disarming, distracting. Your weapon damage increases by 1 power die per mana channeled, and the next attack roll against the target has advantage if the attack is made before the start of your next turn. There you go. Because you distract them. Omnilinguist. And as a sustained effect, so it lets you talk to anybody. Omnilinguist. When sustaining this power, you can communicate with and be understood by any creature with a spoken language, and you can read any non-magical text. There you go. This is a sustained power, so you can just like pick it up for the day if you're anticipating having negotiations of some sort. It's but again, all the prepared powers, you can swap them out when you finish a long rest. Some can swap out powers on a short rest, like the Battle Master, for instance, can do it on a bonus action. Sweet. So Omnilinguist. Hey, that means Silver Quill's good. Let's check out Quandrix, Master of Fate. Reaction. What is that? That's a sustained power 4. When you channel this power, it's 4 mana. When you channel this power, roll 3 fate dice. They're d20s. When you later roll a d20 while this power is sustained, you can choose to replace it with one of the fate dice that you have. Each fate die can be used once. In addition, while sustaining this power, you can spend 1 point of mana as a bonus action during your turn to roll an additional fate die, replacing any results or regaining an expended fate die if you already spent it. Unused fate dice are lost when the power is dismissed. Unstoppable is exploit 4. When an affected condition other than incapacitated, unconscious, or death reduces your movement to 0, you can channel this power to ignore the condition until the beginning of your next turn. Fate Spinner, reaction 3. As a reaction to when you or a creature you can see makes an ability check, it basically makes a d20 test, is what it's going to be called in 2024. You can alter fate by rolling a number of power dice equal to the mana spent. In this case, it's 3. You can choose to either increase or decrease the result by the highest power die roll. If the roll fails after increasing the result, or if the roll succeeds after decreasing the result, you restore the spent mana in the pool. So like at 9th level, you're rolling a d8. It's 3d8. So somebody makes an attack. I use Fate Spinner as a reaction. I roll a d8 to reduce your die to make you fail. So I roll the Fate die. I say I get a 7, but you still hit me. So I would refund those 3 mana. I roll 3 dice, but only keep the best one, as opposed to like strikes, where I would add all of it up and deal that much extra damage. When I'm doing d20 tests, you just take the best result. So even though you're rolling more dice, it's likely you're going to get a good result. You're not completely blowing the bounded accuracy curve out. 30-something is still a difficult task to hit the DC on, even if you throw 5 mana at the effort. That just means you'll probably get close to a plus 10, which may be all you need to succeed anyway, but it's going to cost you mana to do it. So Fate Spinner's good. Banishing Strike should still be 4th. There it is. Knockout Strike is no longer ahead of Banishing Strike. There. Banishing Strike as written. Anchor, is that 3rd still? It's a reaction, right? Yeah, reaction. Someone tries to move or teleport or plane shift. You hit them with this, they take damage, and they have to make a saving throw or they stay put. Flicker Pounce, maneuver 3. Flicker Pounce, 3. Good. Defense Barrier. Reaction 2. Is that true? It might be reaction 3 at this point. Defense Barrier, there you go. Thank you. Defense Barrier is good, but it is 3rd rank. I'm going to scrap that. Redirect. As a reaction to when a creature within reach of your melee weapon attack that you can see hits another creature with an attack, you can redirect the attack to target another creature you can see within reach that the attack using the same attack roll, potentially missing or hitting. But that costs 2 mana. There you go. What is Saving Grace? That's not a bad one. Yeah, let's go with that. Saving Grace. Saving Grace equals reroll any d20 test, including any number of power dice that you rolled. Not bad. Adaptive Resistance, sustained 1, allows you to become resistant to any type of damage, and you can spend more to increase the type of stuff. Anticipate is when somebody makes an attack roll, you can use a reaction to attack them first, and you can spend extra mana to increase the damage, to increase the attack roll. So that's good. Quandrix is solid now. Let's finish up. I bet I'll have time to finish up Prismari. Yeah, I can finish these two. Prismari and Lorehold, and then we'll be done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll probably go through all the Ravnica backgrounds to make sure they're updated and current. Yeah, and maybe we'll further lean into that. So Prismari, here we go. Celerity 3. That's a haste effect. Prismari having that makes a lot of sense. And Unstoppable also makes sense. First Strike, Exploit 3. I love First Strike. Exploit. Here's how First Strike works. Hold on real quick. I love it. Where are you at? First Strike. When you roll initiative,
If an enemy is within range of your weapon attack, make an attack roll against that enemy instead. The result of the roll is also your initiative count, in addition to dealing any damage if the attack succeeds. It's 3 mana, so 9th level. It's expensive, but it's really, really good, especially if you're playing an assassin. Flicker Pounce. Flicker Pounce is 3. Teleport, hit somebody. If you're successful, teleport back. So these are easy to explain. Saving Grace, we already know that one. Good to go. Roll with the hit. Reaction 2. God, roll with the hit is so great for Prismari. As a reaction to taking damage from an attack, you reduce the damage by half. And you can be resistant to the damage, so you can quarter it. Rush attack, exploit 1. When you take the dash action, the first attack you make before your next turn is rolled with advantage. And you can roll 1 power die per mana spent this way, adding the highest result to your attack roll. It's a really good charge, but I can't call it charge. It's not trample either. Rush attack, reposition, reaction 1. Reposition, as a reaction to when a creature moves towards you, you can move 10 feet. Bait and switch is reaction 1. Trigger, result, there you go. A willing creature is within 5 feet of you. You can spend 1 mana to switch places with them and give yourself or them an armor class bonus equal to the result of the highest power die roll. Rush attack, and then Abundant Step gives you flight. And I know that one's already good. Cool, so we're done with Prismari. Now we're looking at Lorehold, Hexproof, reaction 4. As a reaction to when a creature you can see targets you with a spell or magic effect, you are unaffected by it, wasting the spell or effect. Telekinetic Bubble is create Odalix Resilient Sphere until you can dex save your way out of it. Auto Attunement, sustained 2. I love auto attunement. The way that one works is while sustaining this power, you are attuned to any magic item that you're holding. You're wearing or holding that you meet the prerequisites to use up to your maximum number of attuned items, period. So all I gotta do is pick up a wand and I'm automatically attuned. Assuming I can use it, I'm automatically attuned to it. Pop, 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 put it away. Just go down. I can just have a bandolier of wands. And I don't have to be attuned to any of them because as long as I have a spell slot, as long as I have an attunement slot open, I pick up the wand, blap, I'm automatically attuned to it. I blap you with it, I put it back in the holster, and then I can pull a new wand and blap you with that one and put that one. So it really lets you set yourself. Like that's a really, really great artificer power to have, like a bandolier of auto attunement. So I would put the auto attunement power on the bandolier that I wear. And then I'll just have a shitload of wands holstered in my bandolier. So there you go. Because artificers don't learn powers themselves, they infuse items with powers. So while you have that item, you can use that power. Auto attunement is good. Tremor Sense, sustain 2. Lets you, it's Tremor Sense. Keep it up. Cooperative Effort. Axiom Strike is on the way, so let's pick up Axiom Strike at 2, right? Axiom Strike and Cooperative Effort, Exploit 1. It should still be in here, right? Cooperative Effort when you're using the help action. Oh yeah, that's great. When you're using the help action to grant advantage on the ability check, you can roll 1 power die per mana channeled, adding the highest result to the ally's die roll. Axiom Strike we already did. Instant Skill is sustained 1. Do we still call it instant skill? Yeah. While sustaining this power, you become proficient in 1 skill or tool of your choice. Alternatively, if you're already proficient in this skill or tool, you instead gain expertise. You can sustain this power multiple times, choosing a different skill or tool with each use, and gain expertise in a skill or tool already chosen while sustained. So at first rank, like level 1 to 4, I can only sustain 1 rank of power. So I can choose instant skill every time I spend a point of mana. I can choose a new skill or tool to be proficient with. At 5th level, I can sustain 2 ranks of power. So I could pick a skill for 1 point, and then I can become an expertise with it for a 2nd point. Or at 5th level, I could just have 2 skills that I know. I could just have both ranks of power make me be able to be an expert with both of those abilities. That is a great downtime ability just to have on your sideboard. Your sideboard are things that you can swap out when you take a short rest. You can have a number of powers equal to your max rank of power. You can have a number of powers on your sideboard equal to your max rank of power. So at 5th level, 2nd rank power, I can have 2 powers that are on my sideboard. When I take a short rest, I can swap anything that I have prepared for what's on my sideboard. So what I recommend in general is to have instant skill. While sustaining this power, choose 1 ability score. You have advantage while rolling checks and saves for the chosen ability. And as a kicker effect, I can spend an extra power die of mana to add I can add power dice to that result as well. So the trifecta in my mind is instant skill, empowered ability, and adaptive resistance. Those three sustained powers are like my top pick 3s for powers that you would want to have at 1st level and beyond, because they're on your sideboard, because they're always useful. If you're doing a dungeon crawl and then you leave the dungeon, your day's not over yet, take a short rest, pick up these sideboard powers, because you're expecting to have like an in-town social. The rest of the day you're expecting to be in-town social stuff. So you don't need to have so many combat powers stacked up now that you're out of the dungeon. You can sideboard some of your strike powers and then take some of these utility powers and put them in place. So really, really useful. That's instant skill. Trap Springer, awesome. Trap Springer is basically a specialized use for detecting traps and disarming them. Swift Tools, Omni Linguist. We already know Omni Linguist. These are all such lore hold things to have, though. God, they make so much sense for lore hold. I love it. Linguist. We need a letter N in these dudes' lives. Swift Tools, exploit 1. Let's see if that still exists. It might not anymore. Swift Tools. If using a tool that you can hold in one hand would normally require an action or bonus action, or if you're consuming a potion, you can do so as an object interaction instead. So you get your 1 object interaction per round. So if these skills would normally require your tool use as an action or bonus action, you can instead use it as your once per round object interaction. Just click, just like you take a lock, like a master lock, and you hit it with the butt of your sword and it just pops open. It's like, there you go, Swift Tools. Super useful. And hey, that takes care of lore hold. So those are done. And since these are backgrounds, when we come back tomorrow on Saturday morning, I have a Saturday morning stream. It's at 9 o'clock Seattle time, or 9:30 Seattle time, 12:30 East Coast. We'll rebuild all 10 of the Ravnica backgrounds, and we'll look at the backgrounds updates for 2024 and reformat the skills and stuff that you get. We'll rebuild that so that it's compliant with the new system. So that is it for now. I think, hey, that was perfect timing. So that puts an end to today's quest. Yeah, almost exactly an hour. I've got 30 seconds left on my clock. I'm just going to go ahead and kill my timer. That was super productive. Hey, if you guys are interested, anyone that's interested in this, in the playtesting this stuff, let me point out here to you that you can access my Discord community. It's on the About page of my Patreon. You do not need to be a member of my Patreon to access this information. But here on the About page, here is my Discord channel. If you're interested in playtesting this stuff, swing by my Discord and say hi. Drop in. You'll see playtest signups. You can sign up down there. Keep in mind, if you are a Patreon at the $1 level or above, assuming there's seats open, you automatically get a seat. So if you're willing to pay for my content, you'll have first right access to a chair. So if that's interesting to you, welcome aboard. Love to have you. And so that's it for Martial Powers for now. Just going to go ahead and bench this. We'll be back again. We'll be back tomorrow morning to continue on with this work. We'll resolve the Ravnicas. We'll look at the background conversions. And we'll probably go back down into creatures using power and continue defining this a little bit more. Maybe we'll go down and look at the magic items, or the power gear magic items that we have built out for all this stuff. Spyglass of spotting, portable battlements, some really fucking cool shit. So I think we're just gonna random up some more sample magic items and just build them with you guys tomorrow. So I think that's gonna be really, really fun. So thanks a lot, guys, for checking this stuff out. Like, subscribe, bell icon, notifications. Check out all my books down here. They all have free previews. The Spell Point Warlock book is 2 sales away from gold medal. It's got, I think, like a 4.9 out of 5 review rating. It works really, really well. Check it out if you're interested. And God bless you. I really appreciate all your support. So thanks a lot to everybody that's on board. I'll see you guys sooner than later. Bye-bye.